The poem was over. The poet had performed. A pleasant murmur started on the benches. Stewards did the rounds with wine in splendid jugs, and Wiltheo came to sit in her gold crown between two good men, uncle and nephew, each of whom still trusted the other, and the forthright Unferth, admired by all for his mind and courage, although under a cloud for killing his brothers, reclined near the king. The queen spoke. "Enjoy this drink, my most generous lord. Raise up your goblet. Entertain the Geats duly and gently. Discourse with them. Be open-handed, happy, and fond. Relish their company, but recollect as well all of the boons that have been bestowed upon you. The bright court of Heorot has been cleansed, and now the word is that you want to adopt this warrior as a son. So while you may bask in your fortune, then bequeath kingdom and nation to your kith and kin before your decease. I am certain of Hrothulf. He is noble and will use the young ones well. He will not let you down, should you die before him. He will treat our children truly and fairly. He will honor, I am sure, our two sons, repay them in kind when he recollects all the good things we gave him once, the favor and respect he found in childhood." She turned then to the bench where her boys sat, Hrethric and Hrothmond, with other nobles' sons, all the youth together, and that good man, Beowulf the Geat, sat between the brothers. The cup was carried to him, kind words spoken in welcome, and wealth of wrought gold, graciously bestowed, 2 arm bangles, a mail shirt and rings, and the most resplendent torque of gold I have ever heard tell of, anywhere on earth or under heaven. There was no hoard like it since Hama snatched the Browsing's neck chain and bore it away with its gems and settings to his shining fort. Away from your Menric's wiles and hatred, and thereby ensured his eternal reward. Hygelac the Geat, grandson of Swearting, wore this neck ring on his last raid. At bay under his banner he defended the booty, treasure he had won. Fate swept him away because of his proud need to provoke a feud with the Frisians. He fell beneath his shield, in the same gem-crusted, kingly gear he had worn when he crossed the frothing wave that, so the dead king fell into Frankish hands. He took his breast mail, also his neck torque, and punier wet warriors plundered the slain when the carnage ended. Geat corpses covered the field. Applause filled the hall. Then Wealhtheow pronounced in the presence of the company, "Take delight in this torque, dear Beowulf. Wear it for luck, and also wear this mail from our people's armory. May you prosper in them. Be acclaimed or strength for kindly guidance to these 2 boys, and your bounty will be sure. You have won renown. You are known to all men, far and near, now and forever. Your sway is wide, and the winds home as the sea around cliffs. So, my prince, I wish you a lifetime's luck and blessings to enjoy this treasure. Treat my sons with tender care. Be strong and kind. Here each comrade is true to the other, loyal to lord, loving in spirit. The thanes have one purpose, the people are ready. Having drunk and pledged, the ranks do as I bid." She moved then to her place. Men were drinking wine at that rare feast. How could they know fate, the grim shape of things to come, the threat looming over many thanes, as night approached and King Hrothgar prepared to retire to his quarters? Retainers in great numbers were posted on guard, as so often in the past. Benches were pushed back, bedding gear and bolsters spread across the floor, and one man lay down to his rest, already marked for death. As their heads they placed their polished timber battle shields, and on the bench above them each man's kit was kept to hand, a towering war helmet, webbed mail shirt, and great shafted spear. It was their habit, always and everywhere, to be ready for action. at home or in the camp, in whatever case, and at whatever time the need arose to rally round their lord. They were a right people. They went to sleep, and one paid dearly for his night's ease, as had happened to them often ever since Grendel occupied the Gold Hall, committing evil until the end came, death after his crimes. Then it became clear, obvious to everyone once the fight was over, that an avenger lurked and was still alive, grimly biding time. Grendel's mother, monstrous hell bride, brooded on her wrongs. She had been forced down into fearful waters, the cold depths, after Cain had killed his father's son, felled his own brother with a sword. Banished an outlaw, marked by having murdered, he moved into the wilds, shunning company and joy, and from Cain there sprang misbegotten spirits, among them Grendel, the banished and accursed, due to come to grips with that watcher in Heorot, waiting to do battle. The monster wrenched and wrestled with him, but Beowulf was mindful of his mighty strength, the wondrous gifts God had showered on him. He relied for help on the Lord of all, on his care and favor. So he overcame the foe, brought down the hell brute, broken and bowed, outcast from all sweetness, the enemy of mankind, made for his death den. But now his mother had sallied forth on a savage journey, grief-racked and ravenous, desperate for revenge. She came to Heorot. There, inside the hall, Danes lay asleep, earls who would soon endure a great reversal once Grendel's mother attacked and entered. Her onslaught was less only by as much as an Amazon warrior's in less than an armored man's, when the hefted sword, its hammered edge and gleaming blade, slathered in blood, raises the sturdy boar ridge off a helmet. Then in the hall, hard, honed swords were grabbed from the bench, many a broad shield lifted and braced. There was little thought of helmets or woven mail when they woke in terror. The hell dam was in panic, desperate to get out. In mortal terror the moment she was found, she had pounced and taken one of the retainers in a tight hold, then headed for the fen. To Hrothgar, this man was the most beloved of the friends he'd trusted between the two seas. She had done away with a great warrior, ambushed him at rest. Beowulf was elsewhere. Earlier, after the reward of the treasure, the Geat had been given another lodging. There was an uproar in Heorot. She had snatched their trophy, Grendel's bloodied hand. It was a fresh blow to the afflicted Bon. The bargain was hard, both parties having to pay with the lives of friends, and the old lord, the gray-haired warrior, was heartsore and weary when he heard the news. His highest-placed adviser, his dearest companion, was dead and gone. Beowulf was quickly brought to the chamber. The winner of fights, the arch-warrior, came first-footing in with his fellow troops to where the king and his wisdom waited, still wondering whether Almighty God would even turn the tide of his misfortunes. So Beowulf entered with his band in attendance, and the wooden floorboards banged and rang as he advanced, hurrying to address the prince of the Ingwins, asking if he'd rested since the urgent summons had come as a surprise. Then Hrothgar, the shielding's helmet, spoke. Rest? What is rest? Sorrow has returned. Alas for the Danes. Ossier is dead. He was Yrmenlaf's elder brother, and a soulmate to me, a true mentor, my right-hand man when the ranks clashed and our boar crests had to take a battering in the line of action. Ossier was everything the world admires in a wise man and a friend. Then this roaming killer came in a fury and slaughtered him in Heorot. Where she is hiding, glutting on the corpse, and glorying in her escape, I cannot tell. She has taken up the feud because of last night, when you killed Grendel, wrestled and racked him in ruinous combat, since for too long he had terrorized us with his depredations. He died in battle, paid with his life, and now this powerful other one arrives, this force for evil, driven to avenge her kinsman's death. Or so it seems to thanes in their grief, in the anguish every thane endures at the loss of a ring-giver, now that the hand that bestowed so richly has been stilled in death. I have heard it said by my people in hall, counselors who live in the upland country, that they have seen two such creatures prowling the moors, huge marauders from some other world. One of these things, as far as anyone ever can discern, looks like a woman. The other, warped in the shape of a man, moves beyond the pale, bigger than any man, an unnatural birth, called Grendel by country people in former days. They are fatherless creatures, and their whole ancestry is hidden in a past of demons and ghosts. They dwell apart among wolves on hills, on wind-swept crags and treacherous caches, where cold streams pour down the mountain and disappear under mist and moorland. A few miles from here, a frost-stiffened wood waits and keeps watch above a mare. The overhanging bank is a maze of tree roots, mirrored in its surface. At night there, something uncanny happens. The water burns, and the mere bottom has never been sounded by the sons of men. On its bank, the heather stepper halts. Will turn to face them with firm-set horns and die in the wood rather than dive beneath its surface. That is no good place. When the wind blows up and stormy weather makes clouds scud and the skies weep, out of its depths a dirty surge is pitched towards the heavens. Now help depends again on you and you alone. The gap of danger where the demon waits is still unknown to you. Seek it if you dare. I will compensate you for settling the feud as I did last time with lavish wealth, coffers of coiled gold if you come back. Beowulf, son of Ecgtheow, spoke. Wise sir, do not grieve. It is always better to avenge dear ones than to indulge in mourning. For every one of us living in this world means waiting for our end. Let whoever can win glory before death. When a warrior is gone, that will be his best and only bulwark. So arise, my lord, and let us immediately set forth on the trail of this troll dam. I guarantee you she will not get away, not to dens underground, nor upland groves, nor the ocean floor. She'll have nowhere to flee to. Endure your troubles today. Bear up and be the man I expect you to be. With that, the old lord sprung to his feet and praised God for Beowulf's pledge. Then a bit and halter were brought for his horse, with the plaited mane. The wise king mounted the royal saddle and rode out in style with a force of shield-bearers. The forest paths were marked all over with the monster's tracks, her trail on the ground wherever she had gone across the dark moors, dragging away the body of that Thane, Hrothgar's best counselor and overseer of the country. So the noble prince proceeded undismayed, up fells and screes along narrow footpaths, and ways where they were forced into single file. Ledges on cliffs above lairs of water monsters. He went in front with a few men, good judges of the lie of the land, and suddenly discovered the dismal wood, mountain trees growing out at an angle. Above gray stones, the bloodshot water surged underneath. It was a sore blow to all of the Danes, friends of the Shieldings, a hurt to each and every one of that noble company when they came upon Aegir's head at the foot of the cliff. Everybody gazed as the hot gore kept wallowing up, and an urgent war horn repeated its notes. The whole party sat down to watch. The water was infested with all kinds of reptiles. There were writhing sea dragons, and monsters slouching on slopes by the cliff. Serpents and wild things such as those that often surface at dawn to roam the sail road and doom the voyage. Down they plunged, lashing in anger at the loud call of the battle bugle. An arrow from the bow of the Geat chief got one of them. As he surged to the surface, the seasoned shaft stuck deep in his flank, and his freedom in the water got less and less. It was his last swim. He was swiftly overwhelmed in the shallows, prodded by barbed boar spears, cornered, beaten, pulled up on the bank. A strange lake birth, a loathsome catch. Men gazed at it in awe. Beowulf got ready, donned his war gear, indifferent to death. His mighty hand-forged, fine-webbed mail would soon meet with the menace underwater. It would keep the bone cage of his body safe. No enemy's clasp would crush him in it. No vicious arm lock choke his life out. To guard his head, he had a glittering helmet that was due to be muddied on the mere bottom and blurred in the upswirl. It was of beaten gold, princely headgear, hooped and hasped by a weaponsmith who had worked wonders in days gone by, and adorned it with boar shapes. Since then it had resisted every sword, and another item lent by Unferth. At that moment was of no small importance. The Brown handed him a hilted weapon, a rare and ancient sword named Hrunting. The iron blade, with its ill-boding patterns, had been tempered in blood. It had never failed the hand of anyone who had hefted it in battle, anyone who had fought and faced the worst in the gap of danger. This was not the first time it had been called to perform heroic feats. When he lent that blade to the better swordsman, Unferth, the strong-built son of Ecglaf, could hardly have remembered the ranting speech he had made in his cups. He was not man enough to face the turmoil of a fight underwater and the risk to his life. So there he lost fame and repute. It was different for the other, rigged down in his gear, ready to do battle. Beowulf, son of Ecgtheow, spoke. Wisest of kings, now that I have come to the point of action, I ask you to recall what we had said earlier. That you, son of Halfdane, and gold friend to retainers, that you, if I should fall and suffer death while serving your cause, would act like a father to me afterwards. If this combat kills me, take care of my young company, my comrades in arms, and be sure also, my beloved Hrothgar, to send Hygelac the treasures I received. Let the Lord of the Geats gaze on that gold. Let Hrethel's son take note of it and see that I have found a ring-giver of rare magnificence, and enjoy the good of his generosity. And Unferth is to have what I inherited. That to that far-famed man I bequeath my own sharp-horned, wave-sheened wonder blade. With Hrunting I shall gain glory or die.